Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending with where you are across the globe. For us here in the United States, it is afternoon, it is 1 p.m. now. Allow me to talk about the most common questions that visitor visa applicants are asked. And as you know, that the type of visa that will allow somebody to visit the US is either B1 or B2 visa. Now, these two types of visa can allow somebody to either visit the US as a tourist, visiting relatives and friends for medical purposes, yeah, or either you're just coming for the purposes of leisure, either you're coming for the purposes of visa history, you just want to walk around, yeah, maybe you are coming as a business person, but then I want us to look at a number of questions that then will tell us what is it that you expect to be asked when you are going for your visa interview. So, the first common question that they will ask you if you are coming as a visitor to the United States is, what is the purpose of your visit? So, the visa officer wants you to convince him as to why you think it is eligible that you are supposed to be given the visa. Why are you visiting? What is the purpose of your visit? Why do you want to go to the United States? That is what the visa officer wants to hear from you. What is the purpose of your trip? It still comes to the same question. How long do you plan to stay in the United States? So when you are asked purpose of your visit, all these questions will come under that. Why do you want to visit the United States? What is the purpose of your trip? How long do you plan to stay in the United States? Do you have any relatives or friends in the United States? Where will you stay in the United States? You see, all those questions will come under your purpose of visit. What is the purpose of your visit? It can either be tourism, business, or either we are saying it can either be for the purpose of maybe medical or you're coming for medical treatment. So, question number two, it can be what is your travel plan? When do you plan to travel? You must answer that under that particular question. Have you already booked your flight? If yes, then you must be having what? Your air ticket with you. What cities do you plan to visit in the US? That is in a scenario whereby if you are coming in as a visitor visa, as a tourist. If not that, do you have a detailed itinerary to your trip showing this is where I'm boarding from? Let's say if you're coming from Kenya, you're boarding from JKIA. Maybe from there, you're going maybe to New York City, JKF Airport, International Airport. Maybe from there, you're going to, that is your travel itinerary, showing how you'd be moving from one place to another. Apart from that, if you're coming as a visitor visa, you must be able to display what is your home ties. Home ties, you are talking about things that will make you to want to return home. For example, you can have your land title deed. For example, you can have your business permit deeds. For example, you can have your property deeds if you own a house. You can have that. What do you do for a living? Do you have an employment letter? Do you have the pay slip stubs with you for a certain period, maybe for the last 6 months that you have been earning, or maybe you have been doing business? Do you have some bank statements to show that this is how you earn your money? So, home ties, you've got to show. Let's say, what do you do for a living? If that, then you have to show evidence, maybe through the pay slip stubs, or maybe through, if you're a business person, your business transactions, maybe having a bank statement. Do you have a family or children in your home country? It simply means that also if you want to come here as a visitor, bring along the birth certificates of your children. Yeah, they will be used to indicate that yes, you have home ties to your home country, and at the end of your visit in the United States, you'll be going back home because you have a wife, bring the marriage certificate, you have children, bring their birth certificates to the interview. Apart from that, we are also saying, what are your job responsibilities? If you are employed, bring your employment letter, bring your pay slips. Those are the supporting documents to show that you are employed. Are you married? You have already said, bring the marriage certificate. If not that, why will you return to your home country after your visit? That's why then the aspect of home ties come in, because they need evidence to know that, hey, you are likely to go home because you have something that will be taking you home to your country after your visit. So then you need to ensure that the home ties are there and they are very, very clear. Apart from that, we are saying that the fourth aspect is financial status. Financial status. How will you finance your trip? Do you have a financial statement from the bank showing how much money you have in your bank account at that particular moment? Is somebody sponsoring your trip? If so, do you have evidence and proof? Maybe the letters from your sponsor. So you must show that particular evidence. Do you have sufficient funds to cover your stay in the United States? You must prove that by, let's say, providing a financial statement to your bank account. Do you have a sponsor in the USA? If yes, somebody is going to sponsor your journey and is located in the United States, you must show that by providing evidence. Can you provide proof of financial stability? Because nobody will be willing to admit you to come to the United States if they know that then you will go on the street. They don't want that for their country. So ensure that you provide financial statement. How was your previous US travel? They want to know. Did you keep to the rules and regulations? Have you ever been to the United States before? If yes, yes. If no, it is a no. When did you last visit the US? That is if yes. If you've ever been here, they will want to know when did you last visit the US and how was your trip and when did you go back home. Did you overstay during any of those particular previous visits in the US? They want to know. Did you follow the rules and regulations pertaining to your visit visa? If you overstayed, then the chances are that you might be denied the visa. So they will want to look at your previous visit history. How was it? Did you abide by the set rules and regulations? Have you ever been denied a US visa before? And if so, what was the reason? They will want to know. So all those reasons combined together, they will lead to the aspect of how was your previous US trip before this one that you want to take. Background questions, maybe somebody will want to look at, have you ever been convicted of any criminal offense? If you were arrested in the previous, what made you to be arrested? So all this, they are looking at background question. They want to check. Yeah. Do you have any family members living in the US? Those are background questions. If you have any family members living in the United States, how are you related? Where is he living? Can you be able to provide the physical address of that particular relative? They want to know that. Yeah. If not, it is a no answer. Are you planning to work or study in the US while on the visitor visa? They'll want to know. Anybody who is coming to visit, there is no way you'll have to say, I plan to work, because your visa is only for the purposes of visiting. So if you are asked, do you plan to work while you're visiting the US? The answer is no. Because that is not the reason as to why you are coming here. You are coming only but to do what? But to visit. Then question 7, maybe. So the next question, which is question 7, we are saying that why are you, yeah? What is your visa history? Yeah. Or how was your visa history? So somebody will also want to know. If you visited here previously, have you ever had any visa application rejected? Your visa history. How was it? And why was it rejected? If it was there in the previous. So they will want to know that. Why did your previous visa get denied? If at all it was denied. So the visa officer will want to know that. And why did your visa get denied? If it is applicable, that is. But remember, if it wasn't, then you must just say it has never been denied, because that has never happened. But then remember, always, you've always said, you've got to be honest with your responses. Planning about working, we've already talked about that. For example, if somebody asked you if your visa was previously denied, you have to say the reason. Why was it denied? And probably give a response. Now, what is the different thing that you've done now that will now make the visa officer not to deny you the visa. So you've also to ensure that you provide that clearly. Questions about the US. Do you know anyone who is in the US as a citizen or permanent resident? They might ask you that. So if you know anybody, you must be knowing what is the name of that particular person, how are you related, where does that person live, what is his physical address, in which state does he live in, all those particulars of that particular person that you claim to know in the US. Why do you want to visit the United States and other countries? You must have a reason. Probably maybe you can say things such as, maybe if you are a teacher, you want to go and visit some of the universities in Kenya because America has one of the best academic programs, one of the best universities across the world. So you must provide all those answers, those particular arguments to convince the visa officer that indeed your visit is valid and there is a good reason as to why you want to visit. What places do you plan to visit in the US? You must have that in plan. Let's say I want to visit this particular historic site. I want to visit the museum. Maybe you can say I want to visit the Mall of America. You can say I want to visit all those great universities that are there in USA. You can say maybe you want to go and visit the White House, you want to go and visit the Parliament, the lower house, the upper house, all those particulars about the United States, anything interesting. Now, what are some of the tips that you're supposed to do when you're going for your visitor visa? The first thing is you've got to be honest with your responses, because a visa officer is trained to read your face if you are lying or you are saying the truth. You've got to be respectful in terms of having a polite tone when you're talking or when you're responding to the visa officer. So be respectful on how you respond, watch your tone, be polite. Formal dressing, dress formally, never take anything for casual. Use formal language, dress formally. If you're going for a haircut, ensure your haircut is good. Don't overdo in terms of the external outlook, in terms of too many bracelets, too many rings on your hand. Just a simple watch is enough. Yeah. Then also look at the type of clothes that you're putting on. It has got to be official. Then be prepared in terms of questions, in terms of having documents as you are supporting evidence. Have them prepared and well arranged and easily accessible during the interview. Stay calm, be confident, believe in yourself, maintain eye contact during the interview. So those are some of the things that will help you. Then also demonstrate strong home ties. What will make you to want to come back home? Things such as the land title deed, marriage certificate, birth certificates of your children, business property permits. Those are your home ties. So you must have them to ensure that you are proving that you are ready to go back home at the end of your visit. Then apart from that, you are also talking about proof of financial stability. This one can only be shown through sharing out what you're calling providing a strong bank statement showing how much you have in the bank and that you are able, or it will help you to fund your trip, both your air ticket, stay in the United States until you go back home. If possible, have a round trip air ticket when you're coming and when you're going back home, because remember you're coming to visit, so maybe it is only for 6 months. So ensure you have both that. It will help you so much to make your work easier. So thank you so much. Go in the comment section. We will also be posting about this. Share, like, subscribe, and let us learn from each other. Thank you so much.